Tonight, an ABC 15 investigation exposing a federal agency failing to provide security at federal buildings all across the West Coast, including here in Arizona. What they were doing instead may surprise you. Here's investigator Josh Bernstein.
Phoenix, Arizona.
Potential target for terrorism.
Hundreds of federal buildings with thousands of employees.
People in those buildings need to be secure.
That's the job of the Federal Protective Service, an agency responsible for providing security and threat assessments at federal buildings all across the country. 200 right here in Arizona.
It's a great concern.
But never before seen documents reveal more than 100 federal buildings where security has never been assessed.
This is inexcusable.
David Wright, the national union president for FPS and a 21-year investigator, says routine threat assessments of all federal buildings
Dates back to the immediate aftermath of Oklahoma City bombing.
168 Americans died, and 13 years later, this audit indicates the Federal Protective Service is putting lives at risk, failing to conduct required threat assessments, and wasting tens of millions of dollars.
You have to admit, this is a pretty frightening glimpse into a federal agency that's responsible for providing security at federal buildings.
I've never seen anything like it.
In Phoenix, inspectors were actually recycling threat assessments, copying and pasting information from one report to another.
Is this acceptable to you?
No, that is not acceptable.
In sending out emails asking employees about security, are there guards on site or roving patrols, rather than inspecting the actual buildings?
Can you adequately secure a building when you're doing a building security assessment and you've never been there?
Absolutely not. It takes an on-site visit, at least one, and more likely 5 or 6.
And we're not just talking about Arizona.
You have San Francisco.
Yes.
Los Angeles.
Yes.
Phoenix.
Right.
All these cities are potential targets for a terrorist attack.
Correct.
But here's the catch.
This is a security assessment that was done on U.S. Senator Dianne Feinstein's private $16 million home.
Not just any home. Here at the California senator's multi-million-dollar mansion with breathtaking views of the San Francisco Bay. According to documents obtained by ABC 15, FPS spent 10 days making sure the senator's home was safe and secure, something that does not sit well with Arizona Congressman Trent Franks.
Well, obviously, I think that their priority should be to protect the federal buildings.
At a time when FPS was strapped for cash,
Very severe budget problems.
facing a $60 million deficit, David Wright says FPS was turning to Congress for help, turning directly to Senator Feinstein and her committee.
Is there something wrong with that?
Well, that's an outrage.
He's Tom Schatz,
This is a major waste of tax dollars.
the president of Citizens Against Government Waste.
In 10 days, how many buildings could they have inspected? Maybe 10 of the more than 100 buildings that are not inspected at all.
The Federal Protective Service actually classified the senator's private home a Level 3 federal facility.
That's on par with some major facilities.
This is what an actual Level 3 federal facility looks like here in Phoenix, Arizona. Inside this 14-story building, the Department of Justice, the U.S. Marshal's Office, and hundreds of employees. Our investigation uncovers at least 10 Level 3 federal facilities in Arizona, California, and Nevada that have never been assessed. While FPS and Senator Feinstein claim no laws were broken, Congressman Trent Franks is calling it
An abuse of taxpayers' money, certainly.
And government watchdog groups certainly agree.
Where's the Inspector General? Where's the Secretary of Homeland Security jumping up and down and saying, get these buildings inspected? And what were you thinking when you went to inspect Senator Feinstein's home?
Our investigation is already getting results. Arizona Congressman Trent Franks says his office is analyzing this audit, and he plans on contacting the Department of Homeland Security himself. Union President David Wright wants Congress to watch this report and take immediate action. He also wants the Office of the Inspector General to get involved. If you want to watch the extended interviews and see the comments from the Federal Protective Service and Senator Dianne Feinstein, log on to abc15.com. I'm investigator Josh Bernstein, ABC 15 News, your Valley News leader.